This meeting is being recorded.
New feature. Good morning, everyone. It's the July 26th, and yeah, it's our regular weekly SIG Node meeting, and we have some topic. So let's maybe we start from the announcement.
Yeah, sure. So just a quick reminder on the coming code freeze on the 2nd of August. I've wrote up a doc summarizing the cap status as of yesterday. So John, I don't know if you can share the screen and open the doc, or you can give me the whole second try. Oh wait,
I just give to you. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I used to have some trouble sharing the screen. Hopefully this happened this time. Let's try it. Sorry, I had the same trouble when I shared the screen. You cannot hear my voice. So John, can you please share the screen? Sorry about that. I will figure out how to use Zoom next time.
Okay, let me try. Maybe have the similar problem.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Thanks. Yeah, so here is a table of the current status of the caps. So basically, I just have this status, sorry for the typo, status column, and I marked all of the caps with an open PR yellow, and most of the caps we have currently still have open PRs. The in place a bit of pod resources has an open PR, and I think it's close to getting merged. And the username space also an open PR. Secret V2 only needs a doc update, but the PR is open. Forensic container checkpoint teams PR is merged, so looks we are all good on that one. Seed advisor list, container and pod stats, PR open. Dynamic resource allocation also PR open. Yeah, and the pod condition, sorry, the sandbox creation also has a PR open. Kubelet open telemetry PR open. Configurable grace period. It has multiple PRs and all of them are open, I believe. The Kubelet credential provider saying this this for GA graduation and only needs a test. The PR is coming very soon. Ephemeral containers PR open and enable seccomp by default. The PR is merged, so we're all good on that one. New CPU manager policy PR open. Split the log stream PR open. And I think Paco added the last one, quotas for ephemeral storage. Yeah, the PR is also open for that one. I think that's that's all of the caps. Yeah, we have a bunch of PRs open. Hopefully we can get as many as we could merged by the code freeze.
Yeah, it's a lot of PRs that are open.
Yeah. I think we're great at opening PRs. We need people to review each other's PRs now.
Yeah, I've spent all of today going through the SIG Node PR triage board. Between triage, waiting on author, and needs reviewer, we're like 200 open PRs right now. So if anyone has like time, please.
Should we prioritize something because we don't have that many of the review bandwidth, and
I think like I should be able to make another pass user namespaces. I can cover the V2. I can also review the C advisor one. And
Mm.
I think I'll be able to review most of the ones that are assigned to me. But I think we'll also need approval, Don. So I may ping you for approval because Derek is out this week. So
Yeah, please ping me.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
next week I will be out. So
Okay, all right.
I also will finish the whatever assigned to me and include of the ephemeral container. And I think the SEPCOM is already merged. And what about that dynamic resource allocation? I think that's needed some more work. And so any
Yeah, I
other
haven't seen the PS.
we
Yeah,
definitely have to concentrate on our. I also don't think about we have any issue with the Kubernetes credential provider. Yeah. Any other thing we think we should more prioritize? Also, like the split stand out and stand error. I think I also reviewed that one. I think it should be okay.
yeah, that
And
should be straightforward. Yeah.
yeah, I think the WebP1 in place update of the pod resource, I really think about this time we should get in. And yeah.
I don't know how far Derek has gone. He mentioned that he wouldn't be able to get to it till Thursday as of last week. That was the status. I just haven't seen any further updates. I know Mike and I went back and forth as far as the guidance to runtime is concerned, and we've come up with something that's specific enough, but doesn't micromanage the runtime implementation. More details on examples of why we are giving that guidance will be in the documentation, because you don't want to clutter the API code. So, but I think Derek has already taken a pass at it. I just don't know whether he'll have the bandwidth to, he mentioned that he needs to take another pass at it if it was ready. Nothing has significantly changed since the last time he looked at it. So,
Good.
Fingers crossed, I say. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I guess like when I keep the PR green, so whenever he gets a chance, we can kind of merge it. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's on vacation this week, is it? It
Yeah.
means he'll be coming back next Monday.
Yeah.
I'll reach out to him on Slack next Monday and see if I'll make sure that that's the week. I was hoping they push out the enhancement by 1 week, right? Why don't they push this out by a week? Scheduled chicken. Never mind.
Hi. We can have. Yeah, that's
We can.
fine.
No, I think
Sounds good to me.
worst case, we'll have to ask for an exception. We'll have to justify it, right? The code hasn't changed a lot. And this one is going to be a bit of getting so close. I wanted to split it up into multiple peers, but getting so close, it's easiest to chase down. I think we need Tim, we need Wangwei. All of them are agreeing on the current code status the way it is, to merge it and then bring in, fix all the other issues that have been identified and track later. I know Wang Chen is working on getting the tests that the scheduling team asked, and she's pretty close to ready. We'll do some debugging either tonight or tomorrow night. I'll look at some of the issues there with a helper, but we should be pretty close on that. That's not necessary for the PR to merge, but we'd like to have that scheduling test in there.
Okay.
It'll probably come as a separate PR on top of this.
Also, for the user namespace menu, can you handle that one? Because the circuit also out, right? So
Yeah, so I think like yeah, I made a couple of passes. I'll make one more pass today, and I think approval is where we'll need folks from different areas to finally approve it. So
sure.
yeah,
Just ping me. Yeah. Also, if if you need it. Yeah.
Yeah, Rodrigo, like, do you have a list of the various approvers so we can start pinging them on the side while we finalize the review?
Yes, it's in the meeting notes. Like there's a sub item that says we have a lookup to me from Ruiwen, but we need approval from a lot of paths. And if you follow that link, it's a link to the GitHub comment from the Kubernetes bot saying
Okay.
like, owner from all of these.
I think maybe if we can get Tim to look at it, he may have a top level. So I don't know.
Yeah, Giuseppe told me that you told him to ask Tim, and we asked Tim, but Tim is out until I
Okay.
think today or tomorrow.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, it's out this week.
Ah,
Okay.
okay, so
Yeah.
maybe until next week. So yeah, it's unlikely Tim will
Okay.
have
So
time before
then
the
we
freeze.
then we can, I think, ping specific folks, like ping specific owners, I think, on volumes, and we can try to get as much as we can.
Okay. Let's also, since Tim is not available for the user namespace, let's get Jordan. How about that?
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah. If
Yeah.
Jordan can take a look, yeah.
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 Let me ping Jordan, and then at the end from SIG Node, since Derek is not here, I can be your approver. Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. I will ping Jordan for this one.
Great. And then
I gave it a pass for test review today. And there's some changes, but nothing.
Yeah, I was saying them, and thank you very much because you also put suggestions, so it's very easy to fix. I'll fix it right away. Also, unrelated to the getting things merged, and probably subject to that, maybe user namespaces is a good topic for a blog post in the Kubernetes blog.
Definitely, yeah.
I don't know when people from SIG release start asking about this, but maybe, yeah, to keep it in mind.
They started asking a couple of weeks ago.
Ah, okay.
But we never gave them a response. So
Okay.
we should probably try doing that.
Yeah. User namespace and also SIG version 2, I think both deserve some blogs.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe we should propose 2 topics to them. Yeah.
I'll ping Kat.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so the procedure is someone from SIG Node, in this case, probably you, Danielle, will let them know, or should I write on Slack to someone, or?
I'm asking Kat now.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, and feel free to loop me in for the Secret V2 one. It's something we're also thinking to do. So
Awesome.
Thanks. So Deep, you are the one.
Hey, sorry. This is just a quick update on where the new condition PR is. So basically, I think thanks, Mrinal, for taking a look. So it looks like you started reviewing.
Started, yeah. I haven't finished it yet, but yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I think Danielle had a suggestion to add a node E2E, so I'll be looking at that today and get that added. I was also curious if anyone feels, since pod conditions are pretty visible, is this like, do the blog entries happen when something goes beta, or is that something like, is this relevant enough to blog about, or maybe when it reaches beta, we can think about that?
Yeah, I think this maybe, yeah, after we reach the beta, I guess, at least.
Yeah, that seems totally fair.
The SQL version 2 is just because it's the kernel feature we support. It's not that too many people is not that so visible, but to real user, to workload running on the node, that's so this is why we always want to call out loudly to make people know those are wireless. And if this is certain performance difference or behavior difference, so they maybe can link that to the underneath infrastructure. User namespace, because it is such big feature, is will impact a lot of the production from day one. So that's why we also want, but a lot of people might not really using that feature. So this is where we want to call out that feature. So it's just different different stage at a different time. We want to call out those things. Yeah. Another thing which is not really ready, like the dynamic resource allocation. If we are kind of have the alpha, I really think about we should have the blog, but I think maybe right now it's not mature because those feature we really want to get the feedback from user. So that's why. So Vinay, do you want to talk about more about in-case, or we actually covered it?
I think we're pretty well covered on that. The summary I gave earlier. Let me take a look. Yeah, I don't really have anything to add to it besides that the outstanding the E2E test. I think there are two main feedbacks in there. One is adding scheduling, and the other one is Daniel's feedback to move it from current location to E2E node. And hopefully we'll get to that next. So for the tests, I think there is 1 week more time test freeze, right? So we should be able to get that in.
Yes.
Oh, there is? Wow.
I believe so. So the code freeze is 3rd of August and test freeze is 10th of August. So it gives us a little bit more breathing room when it comes to the test code. It's mostly there. Daniel, please let me know if that's alpha blocker.
I'd say it is mostly because we need to be able to validate containerd and cryo.
Oh, the test is there. It's the moving the
yeah, but
moving
that
it
test
from
infrastructure is hellish to work with to test across different node configurations. If it's in ET node, we can very easily run it everywhere.
Okay.
And it also gets run as part of containerd's PR process. And I think the same might be true for cryo. So like putting it in the right place just makes it easier for everybody.
Yeah, I understand. Is it an alpha blocker or is it a beta blocker? Like, can we merge with this its current location? Because I'm hoping to find some time to look into it if Wangchin doesn't early next week.
Mike, how annoying will it be if you can't run it as part of tests?
It is already running.
No, it won't be running as part of containerd or cryo's test suite otherwise.
So Daniel, what's your suggestion? Because we also have a test for schedulers, and then I see the node test part can only work with kubelet and containerd.
Yeah, they kind of need to be separated out. As in, everything that tests the node behavior should be in the ETE node tests. Because then we can also test CRIs, different OSs, like all of the things. And then the scheduler stuff with a bit of a smoke test for a kubelet in test/ETE.
Okay, so currently it is where it is located. It runs as part of the all alpha features. Is that not good enough for alpha?
It should also have a test for all alpha features in ETE node, because otherwise we don't really look at it. Like, as in putting it as part of the actual node ETE tests means that it is actually fairly well maintained, looked at by people who work on CRI implementations, and also like has me basically looking at them all of the time. And so actually gets like a decent amount of maintenance and is good signal for both Kubernetes and CRIs.
Okay.
And also like useful for like finding issues in distributions and like various configurations on like GKE and whatever else. As part of just the regular test suite, it doesn't, because those things aren't important to the rest of like Kubernetes, generally speaking.
Okay. Okay. Let me try and see if I can prioritize that to this week and see. I might ping you on Slack if I run into issues moving it to the different
Sounds
location.
good.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
happy to
either
help.
that
It
or
just makes our lives easier.
yeah. I think
Yes,
while it's switched off in alpha, it would probably be okay to have it as a cry test, right? In cry tools. What do you think about that, Daniel?
I know we theoretically run them somewhere, but I don't know if anybody looks at them.
We do. We run all the cry tools tests
Sweet.
in
Then I'm fine with
Containerd,
that.
Cryo, and in cry tools against current.
Then I'm fine with that. Just I want to not accidentally enable something as beta without it getting a lot of
Good
coverage.
point.
When,
Yeah.
like, don't mess with C groups without good testing. Like, please.
Yeah, no.
thanks. I realized I just accidentally skipped one topic. Anish, are you here or anyone? Zander, do you want to talk about this node readiness extension? Or someone proposed this topic? Okay. Looks like they couldn't join, and so please join the meeting and propose this topic. Actually, this one I'm really interested in this topic because I suggest this topic a while back, and we should drive those then, but we didn't get much of attention from the open source community. So then we dropped that idea, then move forward. If people feel still there's the value or want to talk about how to address that problem, we can come back and we can discuss. But currently this both cap and also the proposal is being closed because due to the no activities for last, I think 4 years almost. It was originally when we proposed this one. That time, when I was looking at the GKE, I want to do the more fully managed node. So that's why I want to give more signal. So I think that there's the problem, but for all the system demands, and but how we are going to efficient aggregately to show this node is ready or not ready, especially right now, we have a lot of proposal, like for example, dynamic resource allocation, and other more extensible. We make the node more extensible. We may need. It's hard for us to figure out if node is ready or not ready. Not like all the time. We only need to make sure Kubernetes is ready, kernel is above certain version, and Docker is ready. Network, we have the pod Cider. So that's basically original what we're doing. Oh, Sander, you are here?
Yeah, I just messaged Sander and Anish. I think we're trying to get Anish too.
Yeah, sorry about that. I thought this was tomorrow, so clearly I'm super organized together. Hi everyone. I added this and I'm gonna, yeah, like Mark mentioned, hopefully Anish can join. He's got more context, but I think he was just curious about if the SIG would be willing to revisit that KEP and potentially put it forward for one of the upcoming releases. But I'll see if I can get Anish on here as well, and he can add some more detail.
It looks like there's a recently linked issue too for some of the CSI secret store stuff that maybe isn't getting cleaned up properly. Anish should be on in a minute too.
Yes, he's joining.
Before you join, I just share the background about this proposal. 4 years ago, when I look at some other thing for the GKE, so I discuss with Vishnu, and we have some like think about we should do something to more accurate to demonstrate if node is ready, take the schedulable or something like that. So that came from that one. So
Anish is on too.
Anish, we just talk about the topic, the node readiness extension, and people think about you have a lot of things to want to share, and yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, hi, I'm Anish. So I'm actually a maintainer for this project Secret Store CSI driver, which is a OSS project. It's a sub-project of SIG Node. And then basically it helps mounting secrets that's stored in external secret store like HashiCorp Vault, Azure Key Vault, Google Secrets Manager. So it gets those and then mounts that into the pods in TempFS. So it's accessible by the pods, right? And then as part of this, like one common thing that we have observed is the CSI driver pods need to be running on the node before the workload pod gets deployed, so that if it tries to request a volume, it needs to already be up and running, right? And then on the other hand, when a node is being scaled down, if the CSI driver pod gets deleted before the unmount operations are done for the volume, then the pods basically just get stuck in that state where they never get deleted. And then that causes the node to also be in the deleting state and not completely deleted. So there are these two scenarios, one during node scale up event and then another during node scale down event. And then we were looking at this from the perspective of Secret Store CSI driver. And then when we started looking more and more, we have started moving towards using out-of-tree volume plugins. So like everything for volumes now is done using CSI drivers. So there's like Azure Disk, Azure File, Google Disk, like File and all of those. This seems to be like a common pattern that can cause issues. Like even though there are retry logics in kubelets to mount volumes, and then there is a way to reach a state where the desired state is equal to actual state. It can take like a couple of retries, and then it makes it really hard for users to see like why it's failing and all of that. So I found this KEP that Xander also shared on the doc, where there was this idea about maybe marking the node ready only when certain critical add-on components for the node are already deployed and running. And I think CSI is one of them. CNI, because it runs as a binary, it's a little different. But if CNI also adopts the model where they say like, hey, we want to run as a pod and then we want to mark the node ready only after the CNI is initialized, that could also be one other scenario. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up here and see, like, is that kept something that we can restart again and try to make that as part of the kubelet thing, or how do we go with it?
Before you and Zach is joining, I just share the background. Because in the past, I feel, because I wrote the initial node readiness, that time we only have the Kubernetes and the Docker network, right? And also kernel version. So it's definitely not enough. CSI driver, that's a good example. In the past, we also have the device plugin and it's ready, right? So the GPU driver is really properly, the driver actually is properly installed and is ready served. There also, it's not that they also we have like the monitoring pipeline is really critical. It's in crash loop. So we do solve part of those problems through the NPD, node problem detector. And because that is also extensible plugin. So, but only because that one only didn't really get a signal from the daemon, right? So the proposal, we just want, okay, how to define a common way mechanism, need those system daemon to give us the signal, you are ready to serve. Then, so that's why the Vishnu and I discuss, and we just think about there's the many way to do this. So we could have metrics, but that's not enough sufficient, right? Say, oh, I'm really not just alive, I'm really ready state. And we could have like NPD, but NPD only can detect after failure, really failure, but there are certain things still is like the product ready state we cannot detect. So this is why we have that proposal. But the reason not many people really not get the signal I mean, I have this idea, but the problem is we should have this proposal. And you can see that from the original cap, there have the several mechanism. At the end, we consolidate as the plan B. You can see that I think but it didn't move forward. Nobody really got much of attention, much of the things. And also problem is way more complicated. You don't want like the one daemon side, one daemon have the issue and you mark the entire of the node, not the work, right? So especially when I believe a lot of provider move forward, become to separate rollout, like those system daemons owned by different team and the separate rollout. You don't want that rollout till the entire cluster. You could have some problem for the cannot support new certain workload or support the new workload, new scheduling, but you just don't want to kill that, make all the node. So that's why we never really reach consensus on that one. And but instead in the production, like even like when I talk about this is for the GKE fleet management node, I want to have certain feature, but the fleet management node already roll out for a long time. We still didn't really rely on this feature. So that's why, but I totally understand where you came from, CSI driver. So I'm totally open this one, but just want to share with you background, what we've been discussed and then look into. And we call out, at least I think Vish and I call out at the SIG Node a couple times and not much of attention on that one. So basically we just let go because looks like it's not, production is done to really have that really need this one. So yeah.
Yeah, I did want to add one point about something I guess Don just mentioned, which is like for regular CSI plugins, like we had run into a similar problem. And what we did find is like, yeah, the node overall is ready and it can take on stateless pods. But let's say if the node needs a specific PV from that storage class whose CSI plugin is not up, that in that context, the scheduler shouldn't schedule those nodes in that, those pods in that specific node. So yeah, it seemed like a little more subtle than like overall node being not ready, which is why NPD couldn't quite provide the semantic we were looking for. Just wanted to +1 that point.
Also, I'm wondering, like, if node ready, how it help with scale down. Like, you want to make sure those plugin to tear down the last, right? But node ready will not help in no scale down case.
Yeah, and I think in terms of that KEP, the proposal was to mark the road as a node as ready or not ready, and then only then schedule, right? But I think the KEP doesn't go much into detail about the teardown event at all. Like it doesn't consider that as a separate scenario. But that is also something that we have been seeing coming up more and more because if it just fails to unmount, that's fine, but it basically just blocks the node from being deleted completely. Because all those volumes are just stuck in that state. And then like if you have like a cluster autoscaler, like this can just be really bad because users have to manually go in and like force delete pods and do all of that. But yes, the KEP does not talk about that. And this is just another scenario that we should consider.
Okay. Marla, you've had your hand up for a while.
Yeah, thanks. So we have a project called telemetry aware scheduling where we go through and we mark nodes with various labels or scheduler, descheduler according to various properties on the node. So I'm wondering if we could do something like that via scheduling, if that would help this sort of use case, because then you can have something that is pulling in information and exposing a telemetry aware scheduler that says if, and this addresses your sometimes CSI is right on these nodes, but not these nodes, right? To go through and look at that and then choose scheduling accordingly, according to internal parameters. So if you want, I can share that project. We're currently trying to move it over to a plugin model it's currently in extenders, which I understand scheduling extenders are different than plugins. So we're trying to move it over to a plugin model and upstream. So if you want to go and check that project out, it's open source, but it's not upstreamed yet. I can work with you and show you what we have.
Can you share at notes or maybe chat? What's the project?
Telemetry aware scheduling. Hold on, I'll just throw it in the chat here. And
Yeah.
we can also
Find the link to that so we can add it in the meeting notes. Yeah. Thanks.
No problem.
So then, Alish, I'm okay to open that one, and we can continue discussing. Can you write down your use cases there at the end of that original cap, and we can continue discussing and we just need people driving those things. Like original, I really think about this is useful, so that's why. But looks like it's open. The community don't think that's useful, so they always have some other way work around. So at least so far, all the product need we can say that is workaround so far. So that's why nobody really own that project. So we just move on. Yeah. But if we can, like what I say earlier, also because it's really complex problem, and to build this abstract, right? So this is why it's also hard. Like people more is like when here is the problem, I solve that particular use cases for my production, and so far those varieties is still under control, because originally I'm thinking about this will be too complicated. It's out of control. So we got to have the mechanism to abstract, define, and the mechanism how to daemon register itself. Oh, I'm so critical. You got to take my opinion. But the next like is under control. So far, after a couple years, and nobody really pay attention until you have this more concrete use cases here, right? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'll add that over there, and then hopefully start coming to more SIG Node calls so we can pick this one up.
Yes. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Just a quick note to Anesh on this. We're doing some related activities in the plague eventing, and I got a friend that's been doing some work in networking. His name's Michael Kappa. We might want to link up. He's been doing some traces on this and trying to figure it out. And I think it works a little differently than you might expect. We don't create a pod. We don't have it completely started without a CNI network. So what does it really mean? Are you talking about additional networks that are being added to the pod? Or are you talking about the initial configuration for the pod? We need to work that out. If you want to give me a ping, we'll talk.
Yeah, for sure.
Me and Michael. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. Thanks, Michael, and thanks, Anish. Okay, we can follow up on that particular cap, and let's move to next topic. I think Jing, you are the next on the local storage.
Yes. So I think I discussed with Benjamin about the automatic detect. If the system cannot correctly find the root FS information and then kind of silence this feature, right? But I think there's some good concern. Then also put it in the issue comments. So we did some like search and investigation. I think so far he found a number of systems, right, have to disable this feature. And then most of them using the rootless. So rootless is the one seems most be affected. And we are not sure they are in production, any system like used in production or not. But we don't have that information. But considering if we do that way, right, automatic detect and then silence this feature, think about the system, let's say currently it is working, but then at a certain point, the system want to use rootless approach because it's improved security. And then there's no easy way to really detect this feature got silenced because the root file system issue. So we consider this pose a risk to do that way. And we think it's safer actually to still have certain like, config right? So the customer needs to explicitly configure it and to mark it as disabled, so they understand what is this feature about, and in their system, if it's not working right, they can turn it off. So basically, that's kind of what we think for this issue. So we still think, yeah, it's quite risky to do automatic detect and then silence the feature. If there's I checked, yeah, Kubernetes has a lot of config options, but if it does not add too much, one more such knob, seems not making this any worse, right? So I don't know, anyone has some thoughts about it or some concerns?
So your proposal is just enable this by default, and just introduce a flag or config to disable that.
Right.
Okay.
It's similar to other, we do have, for example, enable attach detach controller. By default is true, but for backward compatibility, we allow some system like a user to disable it. So similar that way, yeah. So if they disable this feature explicitly, then we will not block kubelet starting, because C advisor cannot get the root file system information. So it will move on. And if the customer, the user, set limit request for informal storage, that will be ignored.
I'm fine with this. Thanks.
Okay, it sounds great. So
any other people? Sorry, any other people have other opinion? Have questions?
I guess it sounds okay.
Okay, then I will, I think, make a PR ready, hopefully by today, and I will send for review.
Sure, thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
So next, David and Manu, SIG version 2, GA.
Yeah, I just wanted to provide a little update on this. So we've been working to make SIG v2 GA in this cycle. Then kind of the main things we wanted to do, so from the code perspective, kind of everything's there and everything's supported today. But we wanted to work a little bit on the test side of things and also on the getting feedback kind of from people who are already using SIG v2. So just kind of quick update for the test side of things. We wanted to ensure that we have kind of test parity across SIG v1 and SIG v2, because as new OS images are moving to SIG v2,
propagate the changes from a main cluster to the cluster.
Sorry.
I'm asking this was based.
Okay, sorry about that. So yeah, we just wanted to ensure that we have kind of test parity across SIG v1 and SIG v2, because as SIG v2 is again the default of new OS images, we wanted to ensure that we continue testing on SIG v1. So kind of the TLDRs, we have now test jobs that test SIG v1 and SIG v2, and kind of the default now is SIG v2 because I upgraded the test OS image to use the latest version of COS 97, which is SIG v2 by default, and then also upgraded the Ubuntu images to use the latest Ubuntu image, which is also SIG v2 by default. So the default kind of blocking pre-submits are actually going to be running on SIG v2, so it's SIG v2 by default now. So that's kind of update from test side, and then from the kind of feedback side, I've done some little bit of work on my side to reach out to some folks who are using SIG v2 Actually, on GKE, we just released ability to opt into Secret v2 for customers so they can try it out. So there's been some customers who have tried it out, as well as we reached out to actually some of the OS, kind of not OS, but SaaS vendors that develop kind of monitoring agents and security agents and those type of things. And they've kind of done some testing and validated their stuff works on Secret v2 and have upgraded their agents to support it and have gave some feedback there. So yeah, I just want to provide an update so people are aware of what's going on in that area.
Thanks, David. When you write the blog for the SIG v2, maybe I strongly suggest to include the testing status.
Okay.
You have the video, include that one. That's give the user a little bit to say how serious about the SIG v2 and not just we did our part of the work before we promote that feature, right? Because again, kernel feature is really people take for granted a lot of time, but they actually affect their production workload a lot. So from high level, we can introduce what's the benefits, right? What it is, feature parity, but at the same time, seriously on SIG Node, what kind of the test we did.
Exactly, yeah. I think that'll make sense to include the blog and kind of any updates people need to make and kind of what OS will support, at least the mainstream ones. So.
Yeah, and we can cover like, okay, what this will unlock next, right? So
yes.
Get people excited. Okay, go here, you'll get UMD, you'll get other exciting features coming.
Exactly.
Yes, UMD, that's cool.
If you need more feedback or something, we also here we do Flatcar Container Linux, and we run into a bump several issues, I think, and we had to enable an option for people to provision node with groups with the1 due to some. Well, I'm not in that team, so I'm not very familiar. But if you want to dig deeper into something, I can put you in contact with the people from that team.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember I reviewed a few issues actually on C Advisor that were discovered by someone from Flatcar. So yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, if you want, I can write you on a Slack about it. But if you had enough feedback, whatever you prefer.
Okay, cool. I'll reach out. I'll be great to hear.
Yeah, super. Thank you.
I think one thing we'll need to be careful about here is like the intersection of C groups v2 and a non-systemd C group driver. I don't think that works well, and I don't think we have tested it, and I don't know like how much appetite there is to to support that.
Yeah, we don't have any non-systemd tests today.
Right.
I started trying to figure out how to reasonably do that. And it turns out that every reasonable distribution now uses systemd for obvious reasons.
Right.
And so it's like either Gentoo potentially, and like, no.
I think it comes down to like folks that really want it should come and contribute it. Like,
yeah, like we had some downstream like asks to run on like places that you can't reasonably run systemd, and I was just like, give me people, like enough people to staff this, because nobody really wants it.
Yeah, I think it also points out that in blog would be useful to point out that using systemd C group driver is kind of what we test and what we recommend, especially for Secret v2. So that's something I think would help communication wise there.
Definitely, yeah. Call out explicitly, and people have a concern or something like that, can push back to us. Then we can carry out. Cool. That's all for today. Any other topic I missed here, or anyone want to call out anything?
Yeah, just help with the reviews, folks. That's all I can say. Yeah, like, I know a lot of people are asking for reviews on their PRs. If they can look at the big list, there's other things also that need reviews. So if you can cross-review stuff, it'll help everyone.
I'm trying to go through basically everything by the end of the week for a first review. But if there's anything that actually needs to be done, ping me. I got through the bug triage list today. That was enough.
Yeah. Daniel, maybe next week you can give us a quick update about the bug triage status. And next week, sorry, I'm going to on vacation finally after 10 months. But I think that's really worth to discuss because for a while we haven't talked about the bug triage status review, those things yet. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Thanks.
Take care. Have a great day.